Hello everybody, this is Solar Tiger with another solar power video, but today's video will be slightly different. Outside you can see it's very sunny. It's the 17th of June 2022 and you can see that the weather outside is sunny, and this is a solar power related video but not about solar itself. So this one will be slightly different. So not long ago, well, a month or two ago, I was looking online and watching YouTube videos, and I started getting interested in cryptocurrencies and crypto mining. But like everything on my channel, everything is to a tight budget and I don't want to spend loads of money now, and this is a hobby thing for me. So, and I was online watching videos about crypto mining, and some people spend thousands and thousands of pounds on equipment, on high-end PCs and multi-graphics card machines to mine cryptocurrencies, and you can say the sky's the limit, but I'm on a tight budget. So, and I was interested in giving it a go, just to have some fun and see what it was about. So the first thing I did in crypto mining was I mined a coin called Duino coin, which is meant for very low powered equipment, things like Raspberry Pis, Arduinos and stuff like that. And I had a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, and I was mining Duino coin on that. And then I decided that I'd like to try something else, and I was reading lots of websites online and watching YouTube videos, and decided that the best cryptocurrency to mine for me would be Monero. It's a private cryptocurrency where all the transactions are private. So, and it was supposed to be profitable, so I thought I'd give it a go. So I bought some computing equipment, and remember, I do everything on the cheap. I don't want to spend a fortune, so I bought two of these mini PCs, one here and one here, and I bought these because they were cheap. I paid £25 for one and £32 for the other, and these are the Ace PC T11s. They have an Intel Atom Z8 350 processor. It's a quad-core processor that runs at 1.44 gigahertz, and each machine has 4 gigabytes of DDR3 memory, and each PC has a built-in 64 gigabyte of onboard storage. It's a flash eMMC built into the motherboard, and also on the bottom there's a bay where you can put in a hard drive, a 2.5-inch hard drive or SSD, which I haven't bothered with. So these have a 64 gig of flash memory built in, and at the moment each one has a dual boot installation of Windows and Linux Ubuntu. So each one has both on. Each of them came with Windows, but I installed Linux on both of them as well. Now I'm mining for Monero, and the mining software that I'm using is XMRig, and I did get it to run in Windows, but for some reason in Windows it ran a lot slower for some reason. I'm running it now on Linux Ubuntu 22, and if you look at the screen, so this is a 7-inch HDMI monitor, a Raspberry Pi one that I picked up on eBay, and as you can see, one PC is running at 138.97 hashes per second, and the other one's at 133.05 hashes per second. These numbers go up and down over time, so sometimes it goes up, sometimes they go down, and at the moment the combined hash rate is 270.8 hashes per second. And what I found with it is once I've set it up and got it going, I just leave it alone to get on with it. Now, the good thing about these micro PCs is that each one only consumes about 10 watts of electrical power, which is good. Also, they each run on 5 volts DC with a power consumption of 2.5 amps. So 5 volts, 2.5 amps. Now if you buy these mini PCs, they run on all different voltages. Most of them run on 19 volts or 20 volts, something around that. And if you're plugging them into the wall with the supplied adapter, that's not a problem. You can use whatever adapter came with your particular unit. But in my case, and the solar power connection is, I want to run my crypto mining on solar power. I don't want to pay for the electricity. So the fact that these run on 5 volts is a good thing, because I can connect them to my 12 volt solar power system and get free electricity. Because outside I have my solar panels. There's 3 100 watt panels at the back there, and that powers my main system. That small panel powers my shed, and the panels outside are connected to my solar power cabinet, and inside this wooden box are 3 12 volt storage batteries. My solar panels charge these storage batteries, and my 12 volt storage batteries power various things in my bedroom, like lights and USB chargers, aquarium lights, and all manner of things that I power with my solar power. But anyway, getting back to the crypto mining thing, my solar panels charge the batteries then power the computers through my solar power system. As I said, the computers run on 5 volts, but my power system is 12 volts. So what we have here are some DC to DC converters. These are the ones they sell on eBay for a couple of quid, and they convert the 12 volts from my batteries to the 5 volts to power my computers. So they're very cheap, and it means I can power my crypto mining equipment for free with solar power. So that's another reason why I bought computers that run on 5 volts. So I'm running the software called XMRig, and it uses the RandomX mining algorithm to mine for Monero. Now, if I go to the terminal, this is the terminal, and this is XMRig, and you can see the screen. If you think the screen looks strange, then I will tell you what the issue is. The computer actually puts out a proper colour image, but, well, no, correction. The screen is fine, it's a colour screen, but Under Linux, I've had a few driver issues with these computers, and one strange thing is that the video was correct until one point, and then it decided to put out a blue image, and it's been like this ever since. But since I can read it fine, I've not bothered trying to change it. So that's why the image is blue. Also, these mini PCs have several USB sockets, one of which I'm using to power the display. On the back of the PCs there's a VGA socket where you can connect a monitor, a HDMI socket where I've connected this HDMI monitor, there's a gigabit Ethernet port, and a DC power jack. Also, the Ace T11 has built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. However, under Linux, I have not been able to make it work. I just can't get it to work, or install a driver to make it work. So, but anyway, since I'm using wired Ethernet, I've not bothered with it. It has a gigabit Ethernet port on the back, and I connect that straight to my router. So that's that. So as you can see here, we have a speed of, so I'm getting a hash rate of about 125.3. On this computer it's maxed at 144. So in the world of crypto mining, this is pretty slow, because people that have high-end PCs or mine with multiple graphics cards will see hash rates into the kilohashes or hundreds of kilohashes or even gigahashes per second. So this is pretty slow by crypto mining standards. But bear in mind, I paid about £50 for both of these PCs. So it works okay. I tried to mine Monero on a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus. Bearing in mind it only has 1 gig of RAM. It was lucky if it could get 20 hashes, and after a while it just stopped. So I gave up and I went with these. So now if I go back to Monero, now I mine Monero on a pool. If you're mining at home, then it's best to join a pool where you can combine your computing power with those of others, and you have a better chance of getting a reward. So the pool that I joined was Monero Ocean. It's recommended online by many websites, but there are other pools available. So I mine with Monero Ocean. They have no pool fees, 0 pool fees, although the version of XMRig I'm using has a 1% fee that goes to the developers of the software. So I use the standard version of XMRig, which mines only using the RandomX algorithm. Monero Ocean have their own version of the software, and it's supposed to be algorithm switching. It mines different coins and gives you a payout in Monero. Now I tried that on Windows, and for me I was only getting a hash rate of about 60 hashes a second, whereas using the standard version on Linux I'm getting about 140 hashes per second. So I quickly went back to Linux on the standard version of XMRig. I don't know why that was, because it was like that I just went back to Linux. So I'm running Linux Ubuntu 22 at the moment, and it's working fine. Alright, I'm not going to make a massive profit on this, and I've been mining since about the middle of May, so about a month now, and I have accumulated 0.001047 Moneros, and at present, if I put that into a converter, a Monero to GB pounds converter, it's worth about 10p at the moment. And recently there's been a big fall in the value of Monero, but it is starting to go back up again. But that's the nature of cryptocurrencies. They face big rises, but also big falls. The values can vary day by day. So the way I look at it is that I would try and accumulate as many Monero as I can, or up to Monero, accumulate the most I can, and then choose your timing to sell. So you can look at many graphs online to try and pick the best time to sell. So what you do I'm going to tell you some basic steps. So to mine a cryptocurrency, you need a wallet. A wallet is simply somewhere to store the cryptocurrency, and there are many free ones available for all different currencies. The one I used for Monero is called MyMonero. They have a website and you can go and set up a free wallet, and once you do that you'll get a wallet address. That's this big string of numbers here beginning with the number 44. So once you've got your wallet address, you paste it onto the mining pool, into the space up here, and then once you've done that you can start mining. You will need that address also in your mining software, so it's XMRig, and you will create a config file. In the case of XMRig, it is called JSON, JSON config file, and in it you give the address of the pool address. So in the case of Monero, it is gulf.monero ocean.stream, and then there's a port number depending on what difficulty you want, or the hash rate of your equipment, and then you enter a password, which in most cases is whatever you want to call your miner. In this case I've called them Monero PC and Monero PC2, but you can call them whatever you like. And once you've done that, away you go. With XMRig, to get the best hashing rate, you need to enable huge pages. That makes a big difference to your mining rate, your hash rate, and that's how that is. If you want in-depth instructions on how to get started in mining, there are many YouTube videos and websites to help you with that. I won't go into that here. So I thought I'd make a video on mining on the cheap, the £50 cheap, because I don't see many videos online about that. So my PCs cost about £50. This display is a 7-inch Raspberry Pi display, HDMI display. I paid about 40 or 50 quid for it. This one does have an annoying issue in that if I turn the display off and then turn it back on again, I have a job to make it display a picture. Sometimes it comes back first time, sometimes I have to do it half a dozen times to get the picture to come back. So I don't know if that's an issue with my display or something like that. Obviously you could hook your computers up to a normal computer monitor. There's a VGA socket on the back and a HDMI socket on the back, so you could use a bigger PC display, and hopefully your computer would put out a proper colour image. But I think it's a driver issue. I'm not very good with Linux. Throughout my life I've always used Windows, and I've always got used to how Windows works. With Linux there's a lot of typing things into the terminal, and that's not something I'm used to, so I'm having to Google a lot of things to try and get it to work. So I'm learning things as I go along. I think now that I've read reviews of the Ace PC T11, and most of the reviewers say it's not very good. The performance is very slow, and I'm thinking about buying a different computer. Again, I'm looking to buy something around the £50 mark. I'd like to consolidate two computers into one, so I just have one unit that I could have the monitor plugged into all the time. Because I only have one monitor, I can only monitor one computer. If I want to know what the other one's doing, I have to plug it in again, swap the HDMI lead over, and that's a pain. So I was looking at buying one computer to replace these two at around the £50 mark. Maybe one with 8 gig of RAM maybe, and a different processor. Also, another thing that affects the performance of Epson rig is the amount of cache that your processor has, and this Intel Atom processor only has 2 megabytes of cache, so that doesn't help. I think the Intel Atom is a kind of budget processor, so that's not helping either. So I was looking to buy a different computer. I've been looking at some on eBay, and for around the £50 mark I could get AMD quad-core processor, 2.5 GHz model, or I could get an i5 Intel model for around that price. So I'm looking around to see if I can get a different computer. I obviously want one in the micro format, about this size, because I don't have a lot of space. And if I do that, I'll post another video to show you how I get on. So this is Solar Tiger saying thank you for watching. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. And until next time, this is Solar Tiger saying thank you for watching. Thank you.